You know that feeling when your mind just won't stop running through every possible thing that could go wrong? When you're lying in bed at night and suddenly your brain is 3 steps ahead, imagining the worst version of tomorrow or next week, or some conversation that hasn't even happened yet. There's this tightness that starts to build in your chest, this sense of bracing, like your whole body is preparing for impact even though nothing has actually happened. You might notice your shoulders creeping up toward your ears, your jaw clenching without you realizing it, your breath getting shallow and quick. Your mind becomes this vigilant scanner, searching the horizon of your life for any sign of danger, any hint that something bad is coming. And it's exhausting. It's so deeply exhausting to live this way, where every moment feels like you're standing on the edge of disaster, where your brain keeps serving you these terrible predictions and you can't seem to turn them off. You might find yourself going over and over the same scenario, imagining all the ways it could fall apart, all the ways you could be hurt or humiliated or left behind. And even when you try to stop, even when you tell yourself you're being irrational, the thoughts keep coming back, more insistent, more vivid, more convincing. This is what we call catastrophizing. And if you live with this, I want you to know something really important right now. Your brain is not broken, and you're not doing this on purpose. This pattern, this exhausting loop of worst-case thinking, it's actually your mind trying to protect you. I know it doesn't feel protective. I know it feels torturous and relentless, and like you're trapped inside your own head with no way out. But your brain believes, genuinely believes, that if it can imagine every terrible thing that might happen, then somehow you'll be prepared. Somehow you'll be safer. It's trying so hard to keep you from being blindsided, from being caught off guard, from experiencing pain without warning. And I want you to feel how much effort that takes, how much your nervous system is doing behind the scenes, how much energy it requires to constantly be on alert, constantly running simulations of disaster. You're not choosing this. You're not weak or dramatic or broken. Your brain is just working overtime in a pattern that probably started a long time ago, maybe when you were younger and the world didn't feel safe, or when something happened that taught you that danger can come out of nowhere, or when you learned that you had to be the one watching, the one anticipating, because no one else was going to protect you. Let me explain what's happening inside your mind and body when you catastrophize, because understanding this can help you feel a little less alone, a little less like there's something fundamentally wrong with you. Your brain has this incredible survival system built into it, this ancient wiring that's designed to keep you alive by detecting threats and responding to them quickly. When you grow up in an environment where you had to be hypervigilant, where you couldn't predict when something bad might happen, where adults were unpredictable or the world felt chaotic, your brain learns to stay on high alert all the time. It learns that the way to survive is to always be scanning, always be anticipating, always be preparing for the worst. And once your brain learns this pattern, it becomes automatic. It's not something you consciously decide to do each day. It's a deeply ingrained response, a way your nervous system has adapted to try to keep you safe. There's also this painful truth that when you've been hurt before, when you've experienced loss or rejection or abandonment or trauma, your brain develops what we call emotional memory. It remembers how terrible it felt to be caught off guard, how devastating it was to hope for something good and then have it taken away. So now, as a form of protection, your brain tries to prepare you for pain before it arrives. It thinks that if you expect the worst, if you imagine all the ways things could go wrong, then maybe it won't hurt as much when it actually happens. Maybe you won't be as destroyed if you've already rehearsed the disaster in your mind 1,000 times. It's a kind of emotional armor. But it's armor that weighs so much you can barely move, armor that keeps you from ever feeling light or free or present in the moment. And then there's the perfectionism piece, the way some of us learned that we had to be perfect, had to anticipate every possible problem, had to never make a mistake or we'd lose love or safety or approval. If you grew up believing that your worth was conditional, that you had to earn your place in the world by being flawless and never causing problems, then your brain might have learned to catastrophize as a way of trying to control everything, trying to predict every variable, so nothing ever goes wrong. But of course, life doesn't work that way. You can't control everything. You can't predict every outcome. And so your mind just keeps running faster and faster, trying harder and harder, and you end up exhausted and terrified and feeling like you're failing because you can't seem to make yourself feel safe. I want you to hear this. You are not failing. The way your brain is working right now, this pattern of catastrophizing, it made sense at some point in your life. It was adaptive. It helped you survive something. But now, even though it's still trying to protect you, it's actually keeping you trapped in a state of constant fear, constant vigilance, constant exhaustion. And you deserve to find a way out of that. You deserve to feel safe in your own mind, in your own body, in your own life. So let's take a moment right now, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I want you to just notice your body. You don't have to change anything yet. Just notice. Are your shoulders tight? Is your jaw clenched? Is your breath shallow and quick, like you're preparing for something? Just notice it with gentleness, with curiosity, without judgment. Your body has been working so hard to keep you safe, and it's tired. It's so tired. And right now, in this moment, you are actually safe. I know your brain might want to argue with that. It might want to list all the things that could go wrong tomorrow, or next week, or next year. But right now, in this specific moment, as you're reading these words or listening to this voice, you are okay. Your heart is beating. Your lungs are breathing. You are here. Let yourself feel that, just for a second. Let yourself drop into this moment instead of living 3 steps ahead in a future that hasn't happened and might never happen. I want you to try something with me. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Feel the warmth of your own hands on your body. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your breath. Your breath is always here, always available, always anchoring you to the present moment. You don't have to change it, just feel it. In and out. Slow and steady. Your breath doesn't catastrophize. Your breath doesn't jump ahead to worst-case scenarios. Your breath just breathes, here, now, this moment. And you can come back to it anytime you need to, anytime your mind starts spiraling, anytime you feel yourself getting pulled into that loop of terrible predictions. I know how heavy it feels to carry this constant sense of dread. I know what it's like to wake up in the morning and immediately feel that weight settle over you, that sense that something bad is coming, even if you can't name what it is. I know what it's like to go through your day feeling like you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, like any moment now something terrible is going to happen and prove that your fears were justified all along. And I know the sadness that comes with this, the grief of never feeling safe, of never being able to just relax and enjoy something without your brain whispering all the ways it could be taken away. You might blame yourself for this. You might think you're broken or too negative or that you're ruining your own life with your anxious thoughts. But please hear me when I say, this is not your fault. You didn't choose to have a brain that works this way. You didn't choose the experiences that taught your nervous system to stay on high alert. You didn't choose to grow up in a world that didn't feel safe or predictable or secure. And you are doing the best you can with a brain and body that are trying, in their own misguided way, to take care of you. The self-blame only adds another layer of suffering on top of the anxiety. It tells you that not only are you in danger, but you're also bad for feeling this way, which makes you feel even more unsafe, even more alone. So let's just gently set that self-blame down for a moment. Let's just acknowledge that you're doing your best, that you've been carrying something really heavy, and that you deserve compassion, not criticism. One of the hardest parts about catastrophizing is how isolating it feels. You might look around at other people and wonder why they seem so calm, so carefree, so able to just live their lives without constantly imagining disaster. You might feel like there's something fundamentally different about you, like everyone else got some instruction manual for feeling safe that you never received. And that can make you feel so alone, so separate, so convinced that no one else could possibly understand what it's like inside your head. But the truth is, so many people struggle with this. So many people are carrying around this same exhausting pattern of catastrophic thinking, this same hypervigilance, this same sense of waiting for something terrible to happen. You are not alone in this. And more than that, you are not stuck in this forever. Your brain learned this pattern, which means it can also learn new patterns, gentler patterns, patterns that allow you to feel safe instead of constantly braced for impact. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes practice. But it is possible. You don't have to live in this state of constant fear for the rest of your life. You can teach your nervous system that it's okay to relax, that it's okay to let go of some of that vigilance, that you can be safe even without constantly scanning for danger. Let's talk about what it means to start creating safety for yourself, to start gently interrupting that catastrophic thinking pattern and offering your nervous system something different. It starts with awareness, with just noticing when you're catastrophizing without immediately trying to fix it or stop it or shame yourself for it. When you notice your mind starting to spiral into worst-case scenarios, you can just gently say to yourself, "Oh, there's that pattern again. My brain is trying to protect me by imagining the worst." You're not judging it, you're not fighting it, you're just naming it. And in that naming, in that gentle acknowledgement, you create a tiny bit of space between you and the thought. You start to see that you are not your anxious thoughts. You are the awareness that notices them. And from that place of awareness, you have choices. You can ask yourself, gently and with curiosity, is this thought about something happening right now in this moment, or is it about something that might happen in the future? And if it's about the future, you can remind yourself that you're not actually in the future right now. You're here. And here, in this moment, you have everything you need. You're breathing. You're alive. You're okay. That doesn't mean bad things will never happen. That doesn't mean you should pretend everything is fine when it's not. But it does mean you don't have to suffer through disasters that haven't happened yet, that might never happen, that exist only in your imagination. Another way to start creating safety is through grounding, through bringing yourself back into your body and into the present moment. When you're catastrophizing, you're essentially living in your head, in a future timeline that your brain has constructed, and you've left your body behind. So grounding is about coming back, about reconnecting with the physical sensations of being here, now. You can feel your feet on the ground, solid and stable beneath you. You can feel the chair or bed supporting your weight. You can notice the temperature of the air on your skin, the sounds around you, the colors and shapes in your environment. You can touch something with texture, something soft or rough or smooth, and really feel it, really notice the sensation. These aren't just distractions. These are ways of reminding your nervous system that you are here in your body, in the present moment, not lost in some imagined future disaster. And when your nervous system gets that message, when it starts to register that you're actually safe right now, it can begin to relax just a little bit. The tension in your shoulders might soften. Your breath might deepen. Your heart rate might slow down. These are small shifts, but they matter so much. They're teaching your body that it doesn't have to be on high alert all the time, that it can rest, that it can let go. You can also start to gently question your catastrophic thoughts, not in a harsh or dismissive way, but with genuine curiosity. When your brain says something terrible is definitely going to happen, you can ask yourself, is that definitely true, or is that a fear? What evidence do I have that this will happen? What evidence do I have that it won't? Have I survived difficult things before? Have there been times when I was afraid something bad would happen, and it didn't? You're not trying to convince yourself that nothing bad will ever happen, because that wouldn't be honest or realistic. But you are trying to help your brain see that it's making predictions based on fear, not based on facts, and that those predictions are often much worse than reality turns out to be. You're teaching your brain that it doesn't have to be so certain about the worst-case scenario, that there's room for other possibilities, for things turning out okay, for you being able to handle whatever comes. And even if something difficult does happen, you can remind yourself that you have resources, you have resilience, you have survived everything life has thrown at you so far, and you will find a way to survive whatever comes next. You don't have to know how right now. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to trust that you will figure it out when the time comes, just like you always have. I want to speak directly to the exhaustion you feel, because I know it's so real and so heavy. Catastrophizing takes an enormous amount of energy. Your brain is constantly running these complex simulations, and your body is constantly in a state of tension and readiness, and it wears you down in ways that are hard to explain to people who haven't experienced it. You might feel tired all the time, even when you've slept. You might feel emotionally drained, like you don't have anything left to give. You might feel like you're dragging yourself through each day, just trying to survive until you can collapse into bed and escape into sleep, only to wake up and start the whole cycle again. And it's okay to acknowledge how hard that is. It's okay to grieve the energy you've lost, the peace you haven't been able to feel, the lightness you see in other people but can't seem to find in yourself. You deserve rest. You deserve to feel at ease in your own mind and body. And part of finding that rest is giving yourself permission to stop trying so hard to control everything, to predict everything, to prepare for every possible disaster. It's giving yourself permission to just be here, just be present, just let life unfold without trying to orchestrate every detail of it. That's terrifying, I know. When you've spent so long believing that your vigilance is the only thing keeping you safe, letting go of it feels like stepping off a cliff. But what if, instead of falling, you discover that you can actually walk on solid ground? What if you discover that you're safe even without all that catastrophizing? That in fact you're safer, because you're not exhausting yourself with constant fear. Let's imagine together, just for a moment, what it might feel like to live with a quieter mind. Imagine waking up in the morning, and instead of immediately feeling that surge of anxiety about the day ahead, you just feel neutral, or maybe even a little curious about what might happen. Imagine going through your day, and when a worry pops up, you can acknowledge it and then let it go, instead of getting pulled into a spiral of catastrophic thinking. Imagine lying in bed at night, and instead of replaying everything that went wrong or could go wrong, you just feel your body sinking into the mattress, your breath slowing down, your mind drifting into sleep without resistance. Imagine feeling, even just for a few moments, genuinely at peace, genuinely present, genuinely safe. That might seem impossible right now. It might seem like a fantasy, something other people get to experience, but not you. But I promise you, it's not impossible. It's not out of reach. It's something you can move toward slowly, gently, with patience and compassion for yourself. You don't have to get there all at once. You don't have to fix everything today. You just have to take one small step toward creating safety in your nervous system, and then another step, and then another. And over time, those steps add up. Over time, your brain starts to learn that it doesn't have to work so hard, that it can relax a little, that you're okay even without all that vigilance. One of the most powerful things you can do is to start building evidence for safety. Right now, your brain has a lot of evidence for danger, for things going wrong, for needing to be on high alert. But you can start intentionally noticing moments when things go right, when you're okay, when nothing bad happens. At the end of each day, you can take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, what went okay today? What did I handle well? What feared disaster didn't actually happen? This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending everything is perfect. It's about helping your brain see that the world isn't only dangerous, that you are capable, that things often turn out okay. You're creating new neural pathways, new patterns of thinking, new ways of relating to yourself and to the world. And every time you do this, every time you acknowledge your safety and your capability, you're teaching your nervous system something new. You're teaching it that it can let go a little, that it doesn't have to protect you so aggressively, that you're safe enough to relax. And slowly, over time, your brain starts to believe it. The catastrophizing gets a little quieter. The anxiety gets a little less intense. The exhaustion starts to lift. You start to feel like you can actually live your life instead of just surviving it. I also want you to know that it's okay to ask for support in this. You don't have to do this alone. Whether that's therapy, whether it's talking to a trusted friend, whether it's finding a community of people who understand what you're going through, whether it's learning skills like somatic therapy or nervous system regulation or mindfulness, there are so many resources available to help you. And reaching out for support isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It's a sign that you're committed to your healing, that you're willing to do what it takes to feel better, that you believe you deserve to feel safe and at peace. Because you do deserve that. You deserve to live a life that isn't dominated by fear and catastrophic thinking. You deserve to feel safe in your own mind and body. You deserve to be able to rest, to relax, to enjoy the present moment without constantly bracing for disaster. And even though it might feel impossible right now, even though the pattern of catastrophizing feels so deeply ingrained, I want you to hold on to hope. Hold on to the possibility that things can be different, that you can heal, that you can find peace. Because you can. I've seen it happen. I've seen people who have lived with catastrophizing for years, decades even, start to heal and find freedom from that constant fear. It's possible for them, and it's possible for you too. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this. Your brain has been trying so hard to protect you, and I know it's exhausting, but please don't hate it for that. Don't hate yourself for the way you've been living. You've been doing the best you can with the tools and understanding you had. And now you're learning new tools, new ways of being, new ways of creating safety. That's something to be proud of, not ashamed of. You're here, you're trying, you're learning, and that matters so much. So the next time you notice your mind jumping to the worst-case scenario, see if you can pause, just for a moment. Take a breath. Feel your body. Remind yourself that you're here, now, in this moment, and in this moment, you're okay. You don't know what tomorrow will bring, and that's okay. You don't have to know. You don't have to figure it all out. You just have to be here, right now, breathing, present, doing your best. And that is enough. You are enough. Exactly as you are, with your anxious brain and your tired body and your catastrophic thoughts, you are enough. And you deserve to feel safe. You deserve to rest. You deserve to heal. And slowly, gently, with patience and compassion, you will. Your brain can learn to quiet those predictions. Your body can finally rest. And you can discover what it feels like to live in a place of presence and peace instead of constant fear. It's a journey, and it takes time, but you're already on your way. And I'm so glad you're here.